Hey guys, what is going on? It's Kelly Banks for Fishing. I'm just gonna kind of make this pretty short here. I just want to kind of tell you what this video is about. This video is a bait casting review. It's on the Shimano Cajus baitcaster. Highly recommend it. I'll tell you guys what I like about it in this video and everything. But yeah, so I haven't been fishing because if you look at my front yard, it's like a freaking river right now. Like I swear, it's like a river. There's water everywhere. My creek's overflowed. It's crazy. The Corey Pond is like the same way, because there's a big old creek that runs behind it. So I can't really get any fishing footage for you guys right now. So I figured I would make a bait casting review of my bait caster. It's over there. But yeah, so that's kind of what I want to tell you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys could like, comment, subscribe, that would help me greatly. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kelly from Fishing. Today I'm bringing you guys a video doing a baitcaster review, actually. Doing a baitcaster review, as you saw from the beginning. It's on the Shimano Cajus baitcaster. Now, this is my all-around baitcaster right here. This is my do-everything workhorse of a baitcaster. I have my other Abu Garcia Silver Max. That's specifically for fishing frogs, spinner baits, rattle traps, reaction and strike baits. That's for fishing really quick baits. This is my do-everything baitcaster right here. This baitcaster has a 6 to 5 to 1 gear ratio, so it's not the fastest, but not the slowest. My favorite bait to fish, well, actually, we're not going to get into that yet. We'll get into what line I like to use. I like to use 12-pound monofilament, dark green, trilene, 12-pound dark green monofilament line. Braid also works decently on this reel, but it really cuts down on the spool. It grinds into the spool like... Grinds into the spool. I have grooves ingrained into this thing from the braid, so now when I get down to the low end of the spool, I got to refill because it'll fray my line. But that really grinds into that, and it also grinds into... If I can maneuver my rod here. I can't do it, but it grinds into the front where the line comes out. It grinds into that too, so there's grooves in there, and it frays your line really bad. So braid is not on my recommendation list. It has a nice drag system. It's got, obviously, the Star drag has a nice drag system. It has a great anti-backlash system as well. This baitcaster, this thing doesn't backlash at all. As long as you don't overfill it or underfill it. Well, yeah. Overfill it or underfill it. You have just the right amount of line like I do right here. It is a great baitcaster to use anti-backlash on. I have backlashes on this thing is slim to none. So, let's get into what baits you like to fish, or I like to fish on this, sorry. I like to fish small baits, not huge baits. It's not, this isn't a huge fishing baitcaster. You want to get a freaking Calcutta for that, Shimano Calcutta, if you're going to fish huge baits. This is my finesse baitcaster. Obviously, my Silver Max is over there. I fish big baits with that. Big frogs, big jigs, big rattle traps. This is my small baitcaster. My favorite thing to do is get a 1/0 hook like I have here. Take a 5 to 6 inch finesse worm. You just Texas rig one of these suckers, weedless. Just like that. That's my favorite rig to fish on this thing. Is a 5 or 6 inch. This is actually a 6.5 inch finesse worm. This is a little bit big for what I fish on this, but that's my favorite thing to fish on this baitcaster. Is a 5 to 6 inch finesse worm. Also, other great baits you can fish on this are small crankbaits ranging from freaking 1/8 ounce to 3/16 ounce crankbaits. Square bills. You can fish small rod traps, not huge rod traps. I mean, you got to keep it under 3/8 ounce. But this is actually my second favorite bait to fish is a Strike King bleeding bait jig. That is a black and red jig, swim jig, with a packer crawl trailer on it. And that bait packer crawl trailer, that's in watermelon candy. I love the swim jig on this bait casting setup. Now let me talk about the baits a little bit. Let me talk about the rod. The rod with the baitcaster is very important. The rod determines, A, if you're going to get backlashes, and B, your casting distance, and C, where you're going to put it at. I have a very expensive rod here, Mojo Bass by St. Croix. This thing, it's pretty expensive. I mean, it'll run you up 110, 120 bucks. It's a split grip rod. I have custom tape on it, like it's just soccer tape. It's just like, it's got pine tar in it. And what it does is, when it rains, it keeps your hands on the grips pretty good. So, I have the custom grips. They don't come with the red, but I mean, I just use soccer tape. It's pretty easy with pine tar. And then, it's a 7-foot rod. It's a medium fast action rod. It's also a heavy rod. The power of the rod is heavy. Now, usually a heavy rod is not what you fish small baits with. You don't fish 3/16 ounce jigs with the 3/8 ounce jigs with a baitcaster and a heavy rod. Let me explain, okay? Here's the thing. I'm fishing a 7-foot rod here. What happens is when I'm fishing a finesse worm, I can see my line start going out. When my line starts going out, I won't even reel in the slack. I'll instantly set the hook. The power in this rod and how long the rod is compensates for that slack. This rod being 7 foot will compensate for that slack. It'll pick up the slack right off the water. You'll set the hook hard. If you reel in that slack, what will happen is you'll have the line already tight. You'll set the hook, rip it right out of its mouth. The rod is just too stiff for that. So when I'm fishing finesse worms, it's actually great because I don't have to have all that anxiety of reeling in all that slack and then setting the hook. I can just, as soon as I see that tap, I can just set the hook right off the bat. It also works very good when I'm fishing jigs. I will flip and pitch jigs on this. Not anything huge. 3/8 ounce jig right here. Nothing huge. But I will flip and pitch jigs on this, and that's why I use 12 pound, obviously, because I'm gonna be in heavy cover. But I'll flip and pitch jigs on this, and I mean when you flip and pitch a jig, I mean you're raising up off the bottom. You feel that one tap, you gotta set the hook hard. Like I said, there's no room for reeling in slack here. I'll take up that slack with the compensation of the rod. Now, this rod is a great rod. I'll tell you what, this is one of my favorite rods I have. Other than my Browning medallion over there, this is my favorite. I cannot talk today, I'm sorry. This is my favorite rod. This rod is the most sensitive piece of graphite I've held in my hands in a long time. Other than St. Croix Legend Tournament, this is my favorite rod. Now, this thing's sensitive as anything. I can feel any bite on this. I could be fishing a freaking creek chub jig and feel bite on this. There's only one downside to this rod. And that downside is the stiffness. Now, like I said, it's a good thing because, I mean, you can get that hard hook set. But, I mean, I'll fish topwater on this. I forgot to mention that I fish buzzbaits a lot on this baitcaster. Fish topwater, and, man, there's no slack on the water when you're fishing topwater. And that hard hook set will rip it right out of its mouth. That's why I go with my Browning medallion rod. But there's no bend. There's bend in the rod if you hook a lunker. But, I mean, if you don't hook anything big, if it's a small fish, you can just rip it right out of its mouth. Which that is the downside. And then we'll talk about the downside of the reel right here. The downside of the reel is the slow gear ratio. That's a downside and an upside. I mean, if you think about it, the slow gear ratio makes you keep your bait in the strike zone longer. Now, what if you can't get in the strike zone? What if you make it you overcast it? I mean, you can't reel it in the strike zone quick. Now, with a faster gear ratio, my Abu Garcia Silver Max over there has like a 7-5-1. With a faster gear ratio, you can get in the strike zone quicker. And I mean, with this, you can't get in the strike zone very quick. I mean, that's okay, though. Like I said, it's very, very strong with buzzbait fishing. Buzzbait fish on this rod is great. Unless, the rod's too stiff like it is, and it pulls bait out of its mouth. But with a slow gear ratio like this, fishing topwater, fishing constant moving topwater, like jitterbugs, buzzbaits, this is a great freaking reel. This is one of my favorite reels for fishing topwater. So yeah, I think I about did it. I think that's about the end of the video. Give you a good picture of the baitcaster right here. Like I said, that's the Shimano Cajus. This will run you about $60 at Bass Pro Shops. They just discontinued the left-handed reel. Like, I'm left-handed when I fish. They just discontinued the left-handed making. I mean, you can probably still get them on Amazon or eBay with the left-handed, but in Bass Pro Shops, they just discontinued the left-handed reel model. But that's okay. I mean, still got one right here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys could please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out, guys. It really brightens my day to see you guys coming on my videos. It's great, guys. So yeah, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, it would help me out greatly. I mean, I've been blowing up in popularity, and I just want to thank you guys. But yeah, I think that's about it, guys. And just get back. You guys want to do some fishing, or I want to do another video? See you guys later.